Hello and welcome to our Gold viewer. So here with us today, I'm Kristen Schwartz, licensed midwife and MC here at Gold. And here I am with Amber Clark. Welcome, Amber. It's so nice to have you with us here today.
Thank you so much. I'm so glad to be here.
You are part this year of our add-on package for our neonatal conference, and that conference is just around the corner on starting on June 1st. And your topic is a great one. Love it so much. The title is titled Flange Fitting in the NICU to Improve Pumping Outcomes. Before we hop into that, just briefly tell our viewers where in the world you are and your role.
Yeah, so I am originally from the US, but I live in the UK now, in England, and I am the infant feeding lead at Oxford University Hospital, which is in Oxford, and I live in the south of England.
Fantastic. Well, thank you so much. Yeah, so you know, part of your job is a lot of bumping assistance, right? And this especially is important for little ones in the NICU that maybe cannot go directly to the breast, right? And so it is important to really make pumping really number one accessible for the parents, but also comfortable, getting them the right tools. And it's not as easy as just throwing them, here's a hospital pump, now get going with that, right? That could be a great disservice to the parents. So it is important to get the right support. Walk me a little bit through that.
Yeah, so as you said, one size doesn't fit all, and we are learning that more and more with everything, and it's no different for flanges, which the flange is the piece of plastic that connects onto the breast pump, and we now know there's a lot more information out about the how to make pumping and expressing as effective and productive as possible, but also comfortable. And so a lot has changed with the advice surrounding flange sizing, and I took that advice on, and we've started some work here in the UK surrounding this new information. But we want it to be equitable for all parents and all patients, and we want to really optimize that output of milk and the comfort for the parents because that milk is medicine for those babies in the
Mhm.
NICU, and it's really, really important that we optimize those babies and those parents. And those parents, that's the only thing often they have control over in the neonatal setting.
Yeah.
The only thing they can do for their baby in that moment in time is express their breast milk. So we want it to be as productive and empowering as possible.
Productive and empowering. I love that because, it's an act of parenting. And this is, as you mentioned, something maybe the only thing they can do for their baby in the setting there, right? In the meantime. And you mentioned comfortable. And this is, I love hearing that because so many parents think that pumping is painful, right? Or it's because it's not the same as having the baby on the breast. It's painful. But you mentioned flange sizes that can help out a lot. What you most commonly see when the flange size is incorrect, bead sized?
Yeah. So if it's painful, if expressing is painful, it's often because some of the breast tissue around in the areola or the base of the nipple is being pulled and pinched. And
Hmm.
so if it's too big, we often have pain or discomfort. If it's the right size, it should feel like nothing or just a gentle tug or a pull, and there should be movement of that nipple. If it's too small, there is no pain or discomfort, but it will just, nothing's going to happen. So if there's pain or discomfort, it's often because it's too big.
Interesting. Yes, perfect. And often, you know what? I mean, we've come a long way. I remember my pumping journey where nobody talked about flange sizes. That you would just hand it one thing and good luck with that, right? Nobody even
Yep.
thought of this could be the wrong size. Yeah, I mean, it wasn't even part of the discussion, right? And so I'm so glad we have come so far, and that we really this is something that can be worked on, considered, and made pumping so much more comfortable and better output. Now, you work in a
Absolutely.
hospital system. When you first came up with that, what kind of barriers did you encounter? I mean, you wanted to take that concept, you wanted to make it available for everyone. And what barriers exist in a hospital setting?
Yeah, I think that's a great question. I think some of the barriers are definitely around what I would call procurement. So being able to even bring those items into the hospital setting. And so I had to spend a lot of work, a lot of hours on the phone with the manufacturer in Taiwan, and working through how do we actually get these products into the hospital setting and within the NHS specifically. So I had to gather all of this information and make these propositions to our procurement team and really just spent a lot of groundwork doing this and what I did end up doing has now paved the way for lots of hospitals to be able to do because it's in the system, it's a known thing now, and we have a system in place to be able to walk you through how to procure those items and bring them on into the hospital. And so part of that also was developing, we don't all use in the same pumps within the hospital setting. So part of that too was making sure that people who use a different kind of pump also have access to those smaller flanges, and they're not disproportionately, struggling to get what they need. I would say another thing that we sometimes struggle with is infection control and trying to use a testing kit. And how are we going to get approval to be able to try a different size on somebody using a sanitized kit, to be able to do that. And so different hospitals have different rules, but thankfully I've been able to manage to get that through in the hospitals I've worked in.
Beautiful. Thank you for the explanation. You mentioned you work in the NHS system in the UK there. Is this something that can be taken also into other hospitals worldwide in the US and such? Is this kind of a toolkit that other providers, once they see your presentation, go like, oh, I want to implement that in my facility?
Yeah, definitely. I know that there are a number of hospitals already in the US who are trying to do this. It's going to look different for every hospital system, but it is definitely, I've had people reach out to me who've heard about the early breast milk toolkit that we created, who have seen, the webinars or that the information from there that have been from Australia or from various other countries saying, "Hey, can you help support me with this?" And
Hmm.
so that have the number of emails I've had from various countries is actually quite encouraging, but also it's a minefield, and everybody is working
Yeah,
individually to for their own particular needs and trying to work out how do we get this into our hospital setting.
right. What would you say was the most difficult part of that project?
Hmm. I guess I would say probably funding, but
Hmm.
not in a way of it just, I had to do a lot of negotiation with the company to be able to say, if we're bringing this on, and we are going to be exchanging out one product for another product, it has to be the same price or less than that other product because I
Mm-hmm.
won't be able to get the NHS to agree to this if you're going to increase the price. So part of that was making sure it was the same amount as the name brand pump companies, so that there was a like for costings.
Hmm.
I would also say, just getting people to have curiosity and
Uh-huh.
actually agree to give it a try. Just try new
Interesting.
things. Don't be shut off. Have some curiosity. Be willing to give it a go is what we would say in
Hmm.
the UK. And so I still run up against that, but
Yeah.
typically I've got enough videos, enough information now, and I can usually bring them on side with some gentle questions and answers.
That sounds great because you were so right. Often in the setting we operate like, well, this worked. Why do we need to change it, right? Like we've always done it like that, right? That's one of the things, and change is always hard and takes a little bit getting used to. But and that's why we have professionals like you, Amber, who provide us with toolkits and videos and all that, so we can learn about it and take that knowledge and take it into our facilities. Well, Amber, thank you so very much. It's been great having you here today. Any final words for our viewers? What you hope that they will be get out of your presentation?
No, I just hope that you learn something new, you're surprised by what you see, and that if you need anything, I'm very happy to help support. And I just love what I do, and I'm really passionate about it. So I'm grateful I even get to do this every day.
Perfect. Well, thank you. And yeah, I can hear that passion in your voice for sure. Thank you so much for being here today. And we are all so excited about the presentation that you have here for us. Flange fitting in the NICU to improve pumping outcomes, part of the add-on package for the Gold Neonatal Online Conference. Little information on the conference. We get started with an open access, free of charge keynote presentation June 1st with Dr. Michael Narvi. Check it out. Go to goldlearning.com. You'll find all the information there, where to sign up. Please also provide that information to your friends and colleagues in the field. It's a great open access presentation. Plus, check out this wonderful add-on package where Amber Clark is, of course, part of. Thank you all for watching, and we'll hope to see you all at the conference. Bye bye, everyone.
Bye.